What am I saying again?
This is MPW.
MPW.
The podcast.
With your host,
Xylo Aria. Cool.
A podcast about music production
for the everyday musician,
where we learn from experienced studio engineers and each other.
Bailey Pickles is an Australian composer, arranger, producer and multi-instrumentalist. His ability to compose instant melodies and harmonies on the piano earned him viral videos on TikTok during lockdown, where he has now amassed over 126 million views. Bailey is currently working on his debut EP, working to fuse piano, cinematic orchestra and pop. Well, lovely chatting to you today, Bailey, and great to have you on the podcast. How's your morning been so far?
My morning has been great. Thanks so much for having me.
Oh, no worries, no worries. It's a beautiful space that you're in and like so much light in your room, which is lovely actually.
Yeah, it's such a nice place to be and we're very lucky. It's lots of beautiful views out the window that keep me inspired. Yeah.
Oh, always good stuff. So we will jump into some TikTok stuff very shortly. But before we get into that, can you tell me a random fact about yourself that maybe not that many people in music know?
Yeah, sure. So I love free diving, which is kind of strange. It's completely unrelated to music. And I think that might be why I like it. You know, it's kind of like a break from everything. And I mean, when you're under the water, like 20 meters, 15 meters under the water, you're kind of very far away from everything. And it's very beautiful kind of space to kind of be in. Yeah.
Jeez, that's definitely a random fact.
Yeah.
So how did you get into
random,
that?
Yeah. I had a mate that started getting into it. This is, by the way, this is without a tank. It's just you know?
Just you.
And yeah, I think we were just on a camping trip or something. And whenever we did camping trips, we'd be near the water. And so I guess it kind of came from that. And we love it. My mate and I often go. We haven't been recently because of just uni and stuff. But yeah, it's beautiful.
Okay. So 20 meters without any apparatus or anything. Like how long are you down there for? And like, do you have to do some training before you can do that?
Yeah, I mean, this is another great thing is it's like you have to be completely relaxed to be able to do it. And that's really nice to kind of be in that state, you know, like to be able to hold your breath for the longest amount of time. You kind of develop the ability to kind of just free everything from your mind. It's honestly like what I imagine it would be like floating through space. That's what I imagine when I'm diving. I want to be moving as kind of slowly and like in slow motion as I possibly can to preserve like oxygen. And yeah, it's beautiful. And when you get to sit on the bottom and kind of look up at everything and realize how small you are. And regarding like training, I don't train like religiously or anything. It's not like I've got a regime planned out or anything. It's because it's more of a hobby. But you can practice holding your breath and stuff like that out of water. And
yeah. Wow, that's incredible. That's not what I thought you were going to say, but that's really cool.
Yeah, no. It's not something that I put up on social media or anything like that because it's completely separate, you know. It's my hobby, my me time away from music and cameras and stuff like that. So that's important.
I love that, actually. We can get a little bit to that later, which is talking a bit about, you know, how do you separate your more personal life to what you share on social media. But before we get to that, can you tell me, is there any event in your life that you would change? Or if not change, is there something that's happened in your life that you feel like you've learned the most from?
I don't know if I would change anything. Like I wouldn't have learnt if I hadn't have made the mistakes, you know. But if there was something like I had this one studio session the other day, this is actually maybe half a year ago or so now. And it was just when I'd started doing studio sessions. And so I kind of went in there with the whole mindset, like I got to show them my value. I got to be like telling, do this, let's try this, blah, blah, blah. And so I think I was just way too in everyone's face, you know. And so I've learnt from that experience that it's nice just in a studio space. Even if you want to say something, sometimes it's really nice to kind of like hold back a little bit and let the other person say their idea first, you know. It makes it so much more fun when you end up with a creation that's everyone's kind of been involved in, you know. And I think that's definitely a situation that I learned a lot from.
Okay, yeah. It's a good point. I think especially people that are starting out, I think you do see this sometimes of like people trying to just show their worth, and used to intimidate me a lot, I think, when I first started, because I'd see people being really intense But what I've realized, similar to your point, is that can sometimes come out of insecurity, even when you feel like maybe you're not 100% sure that you fit in that space and you feel like you need to be more intense. But it's great that you kind of found that and realized sometimes that power is in just holding back and taking it easy.
100%. And I think I had to go through that to kind of learn from it, you know, which is why I wouldn't change it. I don't think I upset anybody to the point where it will never work again, but it was enough for me to kind of step back and learn from that experience. Yeah, I think it definitely is it's an insecurity thing for sure. It's like, it was one of my first studio sessions, and yeah, you feel like you have to try and prove something, when in reality, it's often better just to kind of listen, you know?
Yeah. I love that. And there's so much self-awareness in that as well, because it seems like you've gone through this once, or I don't know, maybe more times, but you've reflected on it and found that, because it can be a very hard thing to do, to look back at yourself and think, you know, maybe I could have done something better. And so it's lovely that you managed to do that and found something that you could change to make these situations better. So that's great.
Thank you.
Yeah. No worries. So jumping into TikTok, you know, this great followership that you have built for yourself. So you now have over 1 million followers. I think it was 1.2 maybe that I saw last time. Yeah. So how long has it taken you to grow that, and how did it all start for you?
It's taken quite a long time. I think we started at the start of the pandemic, so maybe about 2 and a bit years ago now. And it was honestly like, we were so lucky with the time that we started, just because it was the start of pandemic and everyone's using their phones. And I think that was a time in our lives where, yeah, everybody's really consumed in what other people were making. And so it all honestly started out, I think I heard about TikTok at school. People were talking about it just a couple months earlier, and they're talking about all these, like, I'm seeing people doing TikTok dances and stuff like that. So honestly, my first reaction to it was, I don't really want to be on this platform, you know, like it's, it feels very, very alien to me. Like, I hadn't seen anybody that was doing music on it or anything like that. And I didn't use the platform because most of my friends didn't use it, you know. I mean, through all this, Mum was using it, you know, she was really getting into it. And so
no way.
She said, yeah, I know. And it's actually crazy. Like, Mum's been so great for my whole musical journey. She's always been like super involved and helping out wherever she can. And it's actually because of her that I started doing TikTok, and that I'm where I am today. Because what she used to do is, this is at the start of the pandemic, she used to just walk into the music room whenever I was making music and she'd just start recording. It was annoying because I'm so in the zone, I'm working, and then, you know, your mum walks in with a camera and she starts recording. And but I'm so grateful she did it. I mean, after you kind of get over the awkwardness of having a camera in your face, and you realize that there's people all around the world that love kind of seeing the content, I think you kind of grow an awareness of that. Yeah, there are people out there that love seeing the videos that I make for whatever reason. But yeah, it's nice that some people get something out of it, you know, that whether it's like goosebumps, it reminds them of some relationship that they had, or like a person that they lost. And you see it in the comments. They tell you in the comments, and it's really, really cool. And I think I still quite reserved with how I use TikTok and how I view it. It's very much, to me, it's a marketing kind of tool, you know? It's great, but you also should be careful with how much time that you spend kind of in it, because you can get washed away.
Okay. So you said you've been doing this a long time, but for some people, they might think 2 and a bit years is not that long to build a, 1 million followership. So it's all relative, I guess.
Yeah.
And when you say do you have a team, or is that like you, or is it you and your mum?
Yeah, it's just Mum and I, honestly. Like, it's still just Mum and I, you know? Now I'm lucky enough to have people that I can reach out to ask for advice and stuff like that. But yeah, it really is still like Mum's kind of stopped making the videos now. She kind of lets me make them myself. And for a long time, it was just Mum making the videos. She actually came up with the idea of playing a song on the spot. So she's like, I used to do this thing where I used to play songs on the spot. Like, I'd hear a song on the radio that I fell in love with, and I'd go home and try and play it and learn it by ear. And I think Mum recognized that as I guess like a rare kind of skill set. And so she's like, why don't we just make videos on that and see how that goes? And so they're the videos that we ended up making that started going crazy. And I mean, I still do similar videos to that today, like all the ear training kind of skill videos. Yeah, they're the ones that seem to still do the best. So.
Okay. I love that. It's, I would say, a unique story that Yes, into TikTok through your mum. I think most people, it would be the other way around. I mean, as someone in their 30s, for me, even that platform seems a little bit alien to me as well. So
Yeah. Oh, it's so foreign. Yeah. I'm still super foreign to the platform. Like, I don't think there'll ever be a point where I understand what's going
Yeah.
on, you know? And I think that's important for people to know, if they haven't already realized it yet, is that it's wild how it works. Like, the algorithm, you can't guess it. There's people that say they've worked it out, but really what they've worked out is a piece of content or style of content that has got views, and then they're just pushing that one piece of content, you know? Or I think that's something that I've learned along the way as well, is like forget about trying to work out how the algorithm works and kind of just put out the videos that you like. If one of them happens to do really well, then just keep doing something along that kind of line, and you're more likely to have success in that route. Yeah.
okay, that's great. And was being an influencer, in quotation marks, what you were sort of
Right.
aiming for? Or, or did that just sort of happen, naturally?
I don't even know if I'd call myself an influencer. I'm just a kid that loves making music. Yeah, I think at the start, it was never about being famous, or not that I think I'm famous, but I think it was never about having that kind of lifestyle, you know? It was more about, like, I love music, and mum luckily was making videos that captured my love for music, you know? Like when you watch the videos that I make with my friend now, he's a violinist. And the videos that do the best are the videos where we're just having such a good time, you know? Because people love seeing people have a good time. That's another really cool thing, is like, if you can show people like you genuinely love it, and if you can capture a moment where you're having a good time, people kind of feel like they're also having a good time because they're part of it, you know? They're watching it. They're definitely the videos that do end up doing the best.
Okay. So when you are looking for the videos that are doing the best, like, do you have any strategies that you use to, content plan or something like that, or to work out what's working and what's not?
No, honestly, there's not really a strategy going on. As I said before, it's more like how I normally do it is I have that friend, the violinist kid. What we do now is every now and then we'll do a live stream, and it'll probably go for like an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. And it's just us playing requests from people. And that's our thing, you know? We're the people that take your request and then transform it into something new, you know? And then what I do is after that live stream, I'll go to sleep for, for ages and have a nap because I'm absolutely knackered. That stuff wears me out. And then what I'll do is I'll take snippets out of the video. I'll go through the video. I remember which ones made me feel the best, you know? When I was playing it, I was having the best time. I'll grab that snippet, that cover, which will be a minute. I'll grab a minute of it from the start, us talking at the start, which people love. And then it'll be, up to a minute in length. And then I'll post that. And it'll have a story over the top of it. So the story might be, this is my friend Hugo. We met last week and we're here at the QVB and we're playing covers of people's requests. And I think having a story like that kind of brings people in and then keeps them there, you know? And so I'm very careful with like how long I make the text before the next text appears, you know? Like I spend hours on that. Like literally every video takes me like an hour plus to make because I'm so careful with how long I make things so I can keep people's attention. That's kind of the process. And then I'll post that at 11 o'clock p.m. at night because, oh no, that's just when I post it. And yeah, they're my favorite videos and they're everyone's, I think, favorite videos. And yeah, they seem to do the best. So I'll keep doing that.
That's great as well. Like the fact that you notice that people enjoy when you're enjoying, whatever it is that you're doing in the videos. That's a good thing to note as well.
Yeah, for sure. And it's also like my dad's really good for that as well because dad's coming at this whole thing from the angle of a non-musician. And so it's great. Like he'll tell me when he loves a video or what he loves about a video. And so you can tell from how your friends react to it, whether they're non-musical or musical. That's often a good indication of how the video is going to do. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And then when we look at, and I know you mentioned that you can't really guess the algorithm, but from what we all know, the algorithm doesn't like you if you're not posting often. So is there anything that you do to make sure that you are posting often, and how much is that a thing on your mind of, I need to post today, or, do you need to kind of create that to make something around?
If your intention is to grow numbers fast, I feel like there needs to be, there always needs to be a balance between how much content you're putting it out and how much you time you have, because you need to be careful with how much time, you are spending in the whole social media kind of realm, because it can get really, really tiring. But during the time when my videos were at their peak and doing their best, I was probably posting once a day, once every 2 days, maybe once every 3 days. It's like, if you want it to build really fast, then it's probably a good idea to post maybe 3 times a week, 3 or 4 times a week. But nowadays, honestly, like, I'd probably post once every 4 days, once every week. I don't want to let that affect my life. I don't want the stress of being like, I have to post. Like, if I don't post, I'm going to lose followers, or like, that used to really affect me, and that used to drive whether I posted or not. Nowadays, I try not to let that dictate when I post, So if you're trying to grow fast, then probably 3 times a week is recommended,
Right. Firstly, that is a bit of a relief to hear 3 times a week, because I know there are some people that we've spoken to or that kind of teach around social media and things that say, 3 to 5 posts a day, which I'm like, oh my God, like,
it's
do
crazy.
You do anything else?
No, it's actually insane. It's like, maybe there are some people that can pull that off. Like, I wouldn't have any time for myself. I'd be drained within a week. I think the reason that my videos still have life is because I'm still living, like, I'm not immersed completely in this TikTok world. I don't even scroll through TikTok. I don't actually use the thing. I only use it to put up videos. And so I'm really, at this point, kind of trying to like really manage my time so it's less on making the videos and more kind of doing other stuff, And I think that's really important.
Yeah. Okay. So one thing, or a couple of things that I wanted to talk about there, but one thing that you mentioned, that you don't actually use the platform,
Right,
and you're not kind of scrolling. It's great that you can manage that, because I feel like any time that you're trying to grow a particular platform, and I'm definitely guilty of this, like with our Instagram account, it's something that, we are trying to grow, and it has been sort of naturally growing, but I'm very guilty of seeing posts come up from other people and you're like, whoa, like, how did they get this many numbers? And you start analyzing, and then that just can really bring you down this mental spiral. That's just
100%.
Great.
Yeah.
So did you go through that at some stage, or did you just manage to, steer clear of it? Or do you have any tips for people around that?
Right. Yeah. Or 100%. I think everybody's kind of gone through that, like seeing the likes that other people are getting, and then like trying to mimic that, or like create a similar video, and then you create that similar video and it doesn't do anywhere near as well. Like, I've been through that so many times, and it's like, I think after a while, I think you realize that there's something about that video that has this special energy that people were drawn to. And it's like recreating that kind of feeling is very difficult, I think you're much better off doing something that you love. And if you genuinely love it, then that'll come across, and that creates that energy. And oftentimes it's like, I think if I was on TikTok and I was scrolling through, I'd probably be creating content that was very similar to other people's content. But I think having that time away from that platform allows me to keep my content more original. Whether that means that sometimes it doesn't do as well as the videos that are following trends and stuff like that. Yeah, you're more likely to find a pathway that's you, That's also one of the reasons why I do it. But look, I still have Instagram. I still scroll through Reels. I'm guilty of that. I'm still accessing the world and social media through Instagram, because TikTok's come through there anyway. That's just how it works when it goes viral. I'm still connected, but I try to not be too stuck in that world,
Okay, that's great, and well done for doing that and managing it.
No,
so
funny.
When we talk about trends, and I don't know, I feel like is it always a big thing, and do you just not worry about it ever, or are you sometimes on the lookout for them, or it's just not really what you do in your channel?
Honestly, I think I've done a trend maybe like 3 times probably. And in those 3 times, it was mum being like, oh, let's try this and see how it goes, Those videos never ended up doing well. I think that's probably the reason why I stopped doing the trends and stuff. But yeah, I feel like it's mainly just original content. It's just videos of me having fun with my mate playing music. And that's pretty much as original you can get. I know we're still doing covers, so it's still got a little bit of a trend. He'll come to me and be like, oh, this song's trending at the moment. We should probably try this in the live stream and stuff like that. Also, I mean, the people that are requesting the songs, they're requesting it because it is trending, you know? They're going to request songs that are doing well at that time. So that's probably a massive reason why our videos do well as well, because the requests and the songs are popular at that time.
Right. Okay. So you're not actively going out and looking for trends, but what's being fed back to you, I guess, is part of the trend anyway.
Yeah, I guess so, yeah.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about the mindset side of it. So one thing you mentioned that it is quite tiring, and especially when you're kind of stuck in this world, and I have heard this from a few other people as well, like sometimes things don't go that well and they're like, I just need to like have a nap or something, because it is quite mentally draining. Is there anything that you use or any tools that you use to kind of keep that separate and not let it impact the way you feel in your daily life?
I guess there definitely was a time in my life when I'd spent way too much time on social media. This is when everything was doing really well, and because I was just posting every day, I ended up like after 3 or 4 weeks, I just got so drained and tired of making videos. Yeah, I think I just didn't make any videos for like weeks. I just disappeared off the TikTok face of the earth. Luckily, those videos were still their trajectory was still going up over those weeks. And so they were still popping up on people's pages. So it looked like I was still there. I think everybody, like, it's really hard to sustain doing it like every day, you know? Yeah, that's something I'm very conscious with now. Like, you can tell when you're starting to feel a little bit drained. And so choose self-health over TikTok views. That's like 100%. Yeah. I'm very, very conscious of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
I love that. And it's such a great and healthy attitude about social media, because I think very easily you can just get stuck in that trap and let it determine how you feel all the time. So what would you say you like the most about TikTok?
I think the thing I like most about TikTok is the fact that it's amazing to see the reaction that you get from people and how you've affected their lives, hopefully in good ways. And yeah, I think it's also brilliant as marketing as well. At this point in time, in my mind, it's the best marketing platform, you know? Instagram's great as well, but they're just copying TikTok now anyway. So it's like with Reels and stuff. But look, I think Instagram's where it's at. If you can find a style of video that you enjoy making that gets good views, then just follow that route and just do the exact same thing, just in slightly different ways every time. If you looked at my page and you went through it, I think you'd be surprised to see how many of the videos are very similar, like with how they're made and the concept of them. And that's because it works, you know? We found something that works, and why change it, you know? If it's doing well, like, run it dry. Literally, like, just do that and keep doing that until you're not getting any more views, you know?
Okay.
And I think that's my strategy. That's what I like about TikTok, is the community and how it affects people when they get to see your videos, and and the marketing side of things as well.
Okay, great. Lots of good points that you mentioned there, which as a musician can be really handy to have at your disposal. So it's good. And if there's one thing that you hate most about TikTok, what would that be?
I think it's hard to hate the platform itself. I think the one thing that I hate is just the fact that the algorithm kind of punishes you if you don't post for a week. Like, that is a little bit annoying. And I do think it is a thing, and the fact that they want you to keep being consistent. But I think, as I said before, like, prioritize your health over the views and the algorithm, you know, like, that's way more important. Yeah, I feel like it's easy to kind of wear yourself out if you're trying to keep up with consistently putting out videos every day.
Yeah, okay. And actually, one thing you said earlier about, for example, the free diving and how you don't really talk about that on your TikTok. Is there anything that you use to determine what belongs in your TikTok and what doesn't? Because I guess some people feel like, oh, should I just share everything about my life? And they kind of get confused on what belongs there and what doesn't.
I think that's a great question. And it depends on which platform you're using. I feel like for Instagram, I'd manage that very, very differently to how I manage TikTok. What I kind of do is, like, I'll make a TikTok video, and if that does well on TikTok, I'll put that across onto Instagram Reels. And only if, because Instagram, it seems to prioritize perfection and beauty. If I've got a page on Instagram that's just everything's like all the videos that do well, like that looks good because like people are going to Instagram to kind of see your profile. It's kind of like your package, you know? You got your bio, you got your videos pinned at the top of what you want people to see first. You got your images, your shots where you're looking cool, stuff like that to kind of fill in between the videos. And then TikTok I see as more of like not my camera roll, but it's more like my camera roll than Instagram is, in the sense that it's where I test things out. I'll put videos up there. And I think this is a really interesting and cool part about TikTok is if you put up a video and it's not a good video, TikTok won't share it with all of your fans, you know? It'll only share it with the first few. And if it's not getting a lot of likes, then it won't go anywhere else, you know? Like, so you can make a crap video and not have to worry about it, you know? Like, obviously, I'm not trying to make crap videos. Like, I'll make a good video, but I'm not worried about it not doing well because not everyone's going to see it otherwise. The good videos, they'll get shared everywhere, you know? Everyone's going to see it. And so everybody's going to see you at your best. And that's a cool thing about TikTok. I think it's a good way to think about it is it's like, don't stress, just post what you want to post. And the videos that do well will do well. I think that alleviates the stress behind it, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Actually, that is such a powerful thing that you just mentioned there, because I think for a lot of people, there is that fear of putting out bad content and the judgment around that and not wanting to look silly and all these things. But if we keep what you just said in mind of if it's bad content, people just aren't going to see it because of the algorithm. So maybe you can be happy for the algorithm in that sense that it's only the best stuff that's going to be shared. So just keep putting stuff out. If it's good, people will see it. If not, then people won't. So don't worry.
Exactly. There's nothing to worry about. Nothing to worry about at all. And it's like, look, if it's such a bad video that maybe only a couple hundred or maybe less than a couple hundred people see it, and you might lose a couple hundred followers, but like it's like in the grand scheme of things, one day you'll create a video that gets millions of views, you know? Like it's bound to happen if you keep posting and you post videos where you're enjoying what you're doing, you know? I feel like that video with 1 million views is going to bring back those 200 followers pretty fast, you know? Like, yeah, so I wouldn't worry about it. Yeah.
Yeah. Love that. So if you were to summarize everything that we just spoke about into top tips for musicians that are looking to create, or maybe one top tip for musicians that are looking to create a TikTok following, do you know what that would be?
Right. I think at the end of the day, what we just talked about is like, don't stress. The platform, it's a tool. Don't let it dictate your life. If you're putting up a video and the video does bad, only a few people are going to see it because the algorithm's only going to share it to a few people. And if it does great, it'll work in your favor. You know, you'll get the views, you'll get the following. It's more about putting videos up that you love, that show that you're having a good time and that you're doing what you love. And people will connect with that a lot better.
So just jumping into our speed quiz now, Bailey, just 5 very quick fire questions. Are you ready?
I think so. I'm worried about this. It's like thinking on my feet is where I'm not good at. All right, but we'll try. We'll give it a crack.
You're going to be great.
Thank you.
First thing that comes to your mind, all right? So let's go. Headphones or speakers?
Oh, speakers. Actually, no.
Melody
you know
or
what?
lyrics?
You know what? Headphones.
Bailey, this is not how it works.
I can't take speakers with me. I can take headphones with me. All right, next question.
Okay, all right, headphones. Melody or lyrics?
Melody.
Festival or rave?
Oh, festival.
Playlists or shuffles?
Shuffle.
Ballads or dance beats?
Ballad. And on the shuffle one, on that concept, like I literally only have one playlist, like, and I just put everything in there. And then like, if whatever mood I'm in, I'll just keep hitting shuffle until I get the song that I need, you know? It's like, shuffle has literally run my life. Like my videos that do well are shuffle, like play a song on the spot, like, and it's just shuffled. So it's like, yeah, I think I run a very disorganized Spotify playlist thing, but and like everyone else has it all like beautifully laid out and everything. But Yeah, I think that's where I'll go with shuffle.
Really?
You don't?
I don't.
All right, good. Yeah.
No, definitely not. No, my Spotify is very messy. But yeah, so no judgment there. So coming to our top tips section, Bailey, what is your one top career tip for a musician?
It is a difficult one. I feel like, I mean, I don't really have one, but I think you have to believe in yourself. You can do it. There's literally nothing stopping you other than yourself. And it is cheesy, but like oftentimes, like whenever I go through a time in my life where I'm doubting myself or I feel like I'm worried, I'll be like, there are so many other people doing this. Like, what if I'm just another person that's like just gonna be like, oh, look, get somewhere, but then be like, oh, all right, I don't know if this is gonna work. And like that is something that occasionally pops into my head. But then like I got to remind myself, and whether it's like writing lines of being like, you are like gonna be successful, you're gonna make it. Like I will literally I went on a run the other day and I ran 5 kilometers. The whole time I was telling myself, you're gonna be successful, you're gonna be the best songwriter in the world, you're gonna be blah blah blah. Like it's really hard to say that to yourself because you're like cocky, or that's a little bit up myself, but like it forces you to kind of get this confidence from it, you know? It's and in this industry, like believing in yourself can take you so far. Yeah, like there's so many different ways to get there, but yeah, I'd say that's my tip.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you said you didn't really have one, but I think this is a super powerful one. So I love it. And I'm all for
Awesome.
affirmations. And I actually have
Yeah,
this.
100%. It's so powerful.
Exactly. And one of the authors that I really love, Louise Hay, I don't know if you've heard of her. I have this kind of affirmation tape or something that she has, and anytime I'm like starting to doubt myself and that creeps back up, and yeah, exactly, during runs I think it's the best time, just put it
Yeah.
on and like just kind of reaffirm that back to yourself, and
100%.
yeah, and a few days later you definitely feel loads better. So I think you're right, like if you don't believe in yourself, unfortunately in this industry especially, no one's gonna come and believe in you without you having that the first instance. So
Yeah,
love
100%.
it.
Yeah, and I think it's like even just hearing yourself say it is a big part of that as well. Because it's hard to convince. Like at the start, it feels so weird just telling yourself these things, you know. But yeah, I think it really, really helps me. Yeah, I think that's my tip.
Yeah, love it. And what is your top self-care tip, and how do you look after your mind and body?
I think it is balancing my time on TikTok and off TikTok, like on social media and off social media. So I'm lucky that I live in a place where I can walk in nature. Like nature's so close, you know. And so whether it is going for a run or going for a walk, I can separate myself from everything and just be kind of surrounded by nature. And I think that's really important for me. And that helps me clear my mind. That's why I love the diving, is because you're in nature, you're completely submerged, you're away from everything. It's like, it's so silent down there, it's quiet. All you can hear is like the coral, like the bubbling of the coral and stuff. And yeah, I think that's really important to have some way to disconnect from everything just for a little bit. And I think that's my self-care tip. And be like keep your family close, you know? Like mum's always there if I need somebody to talk to. Like I've been so lucky in how involved she's been in the process. And I know like not a lot of parents are like that. So I think it's really cool of mum to have been this helpful throughout my life, because she doesn't need to be doing this, you know, like she could be going about her own life. But yeah, I think keeping your family close and friends, you know, like and spending time with friends, like don't get too stuck in all the music stuff. That have your own time as well.
Yeah. Cool. I love it. I was going to ask what would be your top general life tip, but that sounds like a pretty good one of keeping your family
I feel like
close.
that's it. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. Well, thank you so much, Bailey. It's been such a pleasure talking to you, and I feel like I've learned a lot from this chat.
Thanks so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Great. Thanks. Have a good one.
Thank you.
My biggest 3 takeaways from Bailey's episode was firstly, to just have fun with the TikTok process. And you can't guess what the algorithm is doing anyway, so just create content that you enjoy making. My second biggest takeaway was that the bad content doesn't get shown to that many people anyway. So the algorithm in this way is working in your favor. So don't worry about putting out any content that isn't good because people won't see it. My last biggest takeaway is to not try and copy others because it's really hard to copy the energy of a video that makes it viral. So find what works for you and keep doing that. That's it from us this week. I hope you enjoyed the episode and we look forward to seeing you in 2 weeks.